Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig Scot the Celtic podcast. Today's show is dedicated to my brother Steve McDonald, who passed away on April 18th at the age of 62. He loved everything Irish and Scottish just like I do. Along with our other brother, we had made a trip to Ireland and Scotland back in 2002, and those memories will live on forever. Now on today's show, we're going to introduce you to some more pronunciation help in Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. We will talk about the Beatles and their ties to Ireland in our Celtic history segment. And you will hear about an incident that happened while on vacation back in 2002 in Scotland at Eilean Donan Castle, or actually at a pub near there. And we'll do that in everyday Celtic ways. Now throughout the program we're going to hear music, some of my brother's favorite music from Steve McDonald, Karen Matheson, the Mary Plowboys, and a couple from Paul McCartney. And as always, it's a wee bit of Irish trivia to test your knowledge to start us off. So, what was the Big D in 1970s Dublin? And what was it famous for? All right, Feuchamaich, let's kick this thing off. Enjoy.
Never see you again, and I'll never please you again. Live on, live on, live on, beloved. Live on, my warrior.
Alright, that was Live On, My Warrior Son by Steve McDonald. And now, I'm Tom and Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. It's time for Let's Try a Little Gaelic. Now, I do not represent myself as an authority on the Gaelic language, only someone who loves learning it and wants to help others. What I teach comes right from the textbooks of well-respected Gaelic teachers, so I hope you'll find it interesting, informative, and fun. Today, we're just going to work on some more help in pronunciation. And as always, I will display on the screen what I am discussing. We're going to be working on something that is literally my weakest point in learning Gaelic, pronunciation. And for some reason, I've had a hard time wrapping my Midwest American accent around some of the sounds that you need to make when speaking Gaelic. Some of you have certainly heard my pronunciation before in past podcasts, and it is certainly not at the same level as my understanding of the language. But this is why we continue to study, why we continue to practice. So, Toshik Shin, let's begin. Alright, our first group that we're going to learn is vowel combinations. And you'll see on the display that the first one is the AI, the slender or broad. In the general rule, the I following a vowel doesn't change pronunciation. So, there you go. An AO with an I sounds more like cool in English. So you got cool or goal in Gaelic. EA, slender, is like y'all or hen. Gal or ben. The EA, with the shinafada, which is the long mark, making it broad. Y'all, care. Okay. EA with the shinafada over the E is like ever. Knave. Alright. The EI, like I said, the general rule with the I's is it doesn't change the vowel, the pronunciation at all. The E broad with an I is like rain, as in Kaylee. Okay. EO or EO broad is like yo, jok, or kjol. Sound like single vowels except a Y is added before them when they come at the start of a word. Alright. EU is like EA with an R sound, fewer. Before an M, it is elongated to an A sound, as in limb. Alright, IA is like EA in English, and it's big, which is food. Okay, IO is like fit in English, which is like biek or fies or is. I keep forgetting that the F is silent there. So it's bieg or is. IO broad is EA, so it's mias or skriv, which is month in writing in Gaelic. IU is just like the word you in English, pure. IU broad is like few, like the EW in few. Okay. Diet, dealt. Alright, IO is like the O in bothy. Boinia, botic, the OH sound from bothy. Boinia. Okay. The OI, with shinafada, the broad, is like the O's in boo or boy. Boyd, elongated OO sound for foiden. You get that OY sound. Okay. The UA is like the UA in English. So you got ruig or uavasak. All right. The UI is like the OO in ua. It's got ushka and the uin. Then the UI with the broad over the U is like the EW in crew. Kursh or kunya. All right. Now that's it for vowel combinations. We're going to move on to vowels before an LL, an M, and an NN. Much as in English hall, almost every vowel in Gaelic changes sounds before these letters. This only happens in stressed syllables. Okay. You've got the Gaelic, you've got the English, and then of course you've got examples and notes. So, the A or the EA sounds like cow, the OW in cow. So you got meow and kyown. In the case of EA, a Y sound is added before it when it starts a word, and it doesn't change before M. Okay. The AI sounds like the Y in sky. Cow. Okay. The EI sounds more like the EI in vein. Bane or grame. Okay, the I or the U before these consonants combinations, the U simply gets lengthened. Okay, as in chill. The IO becomes a long U sound, but not before M. It gains an extra Y sound in front of it. Begins a word fian or hienle. The O is like the O in home. It's in home. The OI sound formed by running together a short U and an E, as in broin. Okay. The UI sound formed by running together the back of the throat Gaelic AO sound and an E, as in dridum. Okay, an important rule to remember is that this does not happen if a vowel follows the LL, M, or NN. It's the same in English with the words fall and follow, except with EA, which then makes a short A sound, and an IO, which then makes a short U sound. Wow. Gaelic sure does have a whole lot of rules about all this stuff. Now, my brother, he shared a love of Gaelic language and even went out to an immersion weekend with me once. It was great fun. We had lots to drink, and we played a game, an American game called Pig Out, where you roll a couple pigs like dice, and how they land, you score. Together with Muriel Fisher, a teacher, and a few of her friends, we converted it to what we call now is Feuchamaich Pigs Out, and we play the game in Gaelic, and it's lots of fun. You can pick that game up anywhere you want, at any Walmart or anything. All right, that's it for Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. But anyone within the St. Louis area still interested in a weekly Scottish Gaelic class, don't give up. This coronavirus lockout thing will be over with, and we'll be able to get together and do something. But just for right now, just do the best you can and learn from home, and when we get a chance, we'll get together and we'll make this thing happen. All right. Thank you very much for Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig, and enjoy the music.
Iri
Alright, that was Eilean Donan by Capercaillie, and that was my brother's favorite Gaelic song. He was kind of memorized by Karen Matheson's rendition of it in the movie Rob Roy. Now today on the Celtic History Break, today's topic is the Beatles Irish ties. Now my brother Steve McDonald was a huge Beatles fan. He owned every album that they had ever made, and he learned all he could of them. Of course, that was back in the days before the internet. Steve, being a proud Scotch Irishman, would always boast of the Beatles' links to Ireland, which would usually bring the ire of those who only thought of them as British. The greatest band in the world, as he would call them, came from Liverpool, a city with an Irish population so large that it's known as the real capital of Ireland. But although the Beatles' success is familiar to all, their Irish roots are not so well known. "We're all Irish," said John Lennon, as he declared when the band toured Ireland in 1963. The singer was born in wartime Liverpool on October 9th, 1940, to Julia and Alfred Lennon. Now, his father, a merchant seaman of Irish descent, was away at the time of John's birth and for much of his life. John knew little about his connection to Ireland whilst growing up, but it was in the post-Beatle days that he became one of the most famous voices calling for a united Ireland and for an end to the English presence in Northern Ireland. Known for their political activism, John and Yoko penned two protest songs, Sunday Bloody Sunday and The Luck of the Irish, inspired by the events in Northern Ireland for their 1972 album Sometime in New York City. Now, such was the connection Lennon felt to his homeland that he had hoped to make a piece of it a place for him and Yoko to retire. He purchased an island off the west coast of Ireland, which he owned until his untimely death in 1980. "I'm a quarter Irish or half Irish or something, and long before the trouble started, I told Yoko that's where we're going to retire, and I took her to Ireland. We went around Ireland a bit, and we stayed in Ireland, and we had a sort of second honeymoon there, so I was completely involved in Ireland," said John Lennon in 1971. Now, James Paul McCartney was born on June 18th, 1942 in Liverpool to Jim and Mary Patricia McCartney, and like many other Liverpool families, descended from Irish immigrants. His mother's family was born in Ireland and was Roman Catholic, while his great-grandfather was an Irish native and a Protestant. It is unknown which part of Ireland Paul McCartney's paternal side is from, but it is known that they first emigrated from Ireland to Galway, Scotland, and then on to Liverpool. McCartney, who immortalized the Mull of Kintyre with his song of the same name, also wrote about his Irish heritage in his music, and we'll play that song today. Like John and Yoko, Paul and his first wife Linda wrote in response to the events of Bloody Sunday, drawing from his Irish background in their controversial song "Give Ireland Back to the Irish," which I will play today as well. The song was completely banned in Britain, but reached number 1 on the singles charts in Ireland. Then there's Ringo, and while Ringo Starr is often described as the most English Beatle, Mark Lewisham in his book Tune In describes one family line going back to County Mayo, suggesting that all 4 of the Beatles can be accurately described as having ancestral roots in Ireland. It is, however, George Harrison who had the strongest Irish connections, coming from an Irish Catholic family on his mother's side, unusual for the time. His grandparents never married, and Mark Lewisham suggests that the secretive aspect to his family life and their suspicion of nosy neighbors had a lasting effect on the attitude of the Quiet Beatle, as he was called. Harrison would return to Ireland throughout his life to visit family living in North Dublin, often catching the ferry across from Liverpool to Dublin. He also took his soon-to-be wife, Paddy Boyd on an early vacation to Ireland. Harrison's music, however, didn't overtly draw from his Irish heritage, but the films produced through his own company are peppered with references to Ireland. The Irish have played a major role in Liverpool's population and social fabric for a good part of its 800-year history, and it is apparent today when visiting the city. It's safe to say that the people of Liverpool are extremely proud of its four sons and the way that Irish influence has helped to shape the famous musical city. Alright, that's it for the Celtic History Break.
Give Ireland back to the Irish. Don't make them have to take it away. Give Ireland back to the Irish. Make Ireland Irish today. Great Britain, you are tremendous, and nobody knows like me. But really, what are we doing in a land across the sea? Tell me, how would you like it if on your way to work you were stopped by Irish soldiers? Would you lie down, do nothing? Would you give it good better? Ireland back to the Irish. Don't make them have to take it away. Give Ireland back to the Irish. Make Ireland Irish today. Great Britain and all the people say that people must be free. And meanwhile, back in Ireland, there's a man who looks like me, and he dreams of God and country, and he's feeling really bad. And he's sitting in a prison. Say, should he lie down, do nothing? Should he give it a go now? Give Ireland back to the Irish. Don't make them have to take it away. Give Ireland back to the Irish. Make Ireland Irish today. Give Ireland back to the Irish. Don't make them have to take it away. Give Ireland back to the Irish. Don't make Ireland Irish today.
That was Give Ireland Back to the Irish by Paul McCartney and Wings. I remember my brother would play this song and wear his Ireland Unfree Shall Never Be at Peace shirt and regale me with stories of the troubles over there in Ireland. This was circa 1975. I was 9 and my father had just died, and sharing his love of the Beatles and his way of keeping my mind off the sad happenings in our life. But now, it's time for Everyday Celtic Ways. Today we're going to talk about an incident at a pub near Eilean Donan Castle that I thought was kind of cool. So while staying in Scotland and staying at Armadale Castle, in the cottages there, my two brothers and I would get picked up every morning by a local driver and escorted to pretty much wherever we wanted to go. Now, it was expensive doing that, but it was nice not to have to worry about anything and to have a native Gaelic speaker to keep us from making the common tourist mistakes. Everything was going just fine until Sunday loomed on the horizon, and my brother, Steve, being a good Catholic, wanted to know where he could go to Mass. Now, he asked our driver, and this was one of the few times he didn't know where to go, stating, "I'm no papist." I got the feeling he didn't want to take him there for some reason, but on our travels that day, we found out there is a Catholic church in the town of Dorney, near Eilean Donan Castle, which we had visited earlier in the week. So the next morning, we went to find this church. Now, my brother Steve is the Catholic, the religious one, so me and my other brother Dennis planned to go along. We just hoped we wouldn't burst into flames and entering in the church. On the ride there, we mentioned that we wished we had something else to do while he was at Mass. Our usual quiet driver chimed in and said he knew just a place we could wait until Steve was done attending Mass. We dropped him off, and I swear I heard our driver mumble "papist" under his breath. Nevertheless, we drove off and turned a corner or two before we pulled up in front of a pub. Now, I might expect this in Ireland, but this was a remote area of the Scottish Highlands. Oh, baby. Sorry, my granddaughter's in my lap. Well, since neither of us were opposed to drinking on Sunday, we entered the pub, and it couldn't have been more of a stereotypical pub setting. A good-looking young bartender, a couple of men in the corner sipping on a couple pints, and a dog roaming around making a trip to the spill pan after every pint was drawn. The only thing out of the place was a young boy, no more than 15 or 16, sitting at the bar drinking a pint. So we went in, we ordered a couple pints, our driver ordered a coffee, and we settled in for the long haul. The bartender asked where we were from, and before we could answer, our driver spoke out and said, "They're Americans." At the same time, my brother and I both said, "Nope, we're from Texas," and the whole bar went up into laughter. The one old drunk man in the corner yelled out, "Bobby Ewing," a reference from the TV show Dallas fame. Then, as we were all laughing, a man walked in, and as soon as the boy seen him, he downed his beer and walked out, not saying a word to anyone. When the man reached the bar, he turned to the bartender and said, "You know that boy is too young to drink alcohol. You could get in trouble for that." The bartender took a step back as he grabbed the boy's errant empty glass and set it in the dish sink full of soapy water. "What boy?" "You know damn well what boy," he demanded. "It's the Lord's Day. I'll ask you to keep your blasphemous talk to yourself," the bartender replied, with a clever little smile and a wink to the others in the bar. The man turns to the bar and asks, "Anyone see that boy?" "Nope. Sorry. What boy?" came the replies from pretty much everybody there. Then he turned to us, and I guess we just screamed "tourist," and he asked me and my brother the same question. Without blinking an eye, though, my brother replied, "No habla English," which is Spanish for "I don't speak English." He looked at me and just gave up before I could say a word, and he walked out. As soon as the door closed, the bartender came over and refreshed our beers and explained that the boy's only parent had died in a car accident, and he was actually caring and providing for the other 3 younger children and doing a fine job of it. And he added, as if he was taking on the responsibility of being a man, "I'll serve him a beer too. I don't see the harm." This was the best part of the whole vacation because we got to interact with the locals. We weren't treated like tourists. and we got to see the unpolished side of the Scottish Highlands. We picked up my brother from church an hour later, and we went about our day. And I'm glad that was close to our last day there in Scotland, because I don't think we could have topped it. All right. That's Everyday Celtic Ways. Damn.
Mull of Kintyre, on mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be on Mull of Kintyre. Far have I travelled, and much have I seen. Dark distant mountains with valleys of green, past painted deserts, the sun sets on fire as he carries me home to the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre, oh mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, oh Mull of Kintyre.
Alright, that was Mull of Kintyre by Paul McCartney. This song is how I came to know of a land called Scotland. Well, that's it for today's show. I hope you liked it. I'm trying to keep it interesting, informative, and fun while showing you the beauty of all things Celtic. I would like to thank everyone for all the support and kind words, likes, and new subscribers. Top 11 Herrichen. Thank you, friends. Now, before I go, the trivia question answer. What was Big D in 1970s Dublin, and what was it famous for? It was a pirate radio station that played music that was banned because it arose awareness of the Irish people's treatment by the hands of the British. Songs like Sunday Bloody Sunday and Give Ireland Back to the Irish and more. All right. Remember to check out Olde Scot, my YouTube channel, and to learn Gaelic song videos and the Celtic podcasts, and there's plenty more on there. Some movies and other videos. Martian leaving Drozda. Bye for now. But I'm going to let you go with a song. God Save Ireland by the Merry Plowboys. Now, my brother loved this song because Paul McCartney's grandfather sang a version of it in the movie Hard Day's Night. And when we were in Ireland at Taylor's Irish Nights, when the Merry Plowboys sang this song, he stood up and sang it proudly, as did almost everyone in the room. There was a couple very drunk, very confused Danish women at our table that just didn't get it, but eventually they came to join in with the party. All right, enjoy the song.
High upon the gallows trees, one the noble hearted free, by the vengeful tyrant stricken in their bloom. But they met him face to face with the courage of their race, and they went with souls undaunted to their doom. God save Ireland, said the heroes. God save Ireland, said they all. Whether on the scaffold high or the battlefields we die, oh, what matter if for Ireland do we fall? Girt around with cruel foes, and their courage proudly rose, for they thought of friends who loved them far and near. Of the millions true and brave, o'er the ocean's swelling wave, and the friends of dear old Ireland ever true. God save Ireland, said the heroes. God save Ireland, said they all. Whether on the scaffold high or the battlefield we die, oh, what matter if for Ireland do we fall? Climbed they up the rugged stair, banged their voices out in prayer, then with England's fatal cord around them cast. Close beside the gallows tree, kissed like brothers lovingly, true to home and faith and freedom to the last. God save Ireland, said the heroes. God save Ireland, said they all. Whether on the scaffold high or the battlefield we die, oh, what matter if for Ireland do we fall? Never till the latest day shall the memory pass away of their gallant lives thus given for our land. But on the cause we'll go, it's the joy, the weal and woe, till we make our island nation free and grand. God save Ireland, said the heroes. God save Ireland, said they all. Whether on the scaffold high or the battlefield we die, oh, what matter if for Ireland do we fall? God save Ireland, said the heroes. God save Ireland, said they all. Whether on the scaffold high or the battlefield we die, oh, what matter if for Ireland do we fall?